One.
Greetings again, ladies and gentlemen. To start off today's lesson, we're going to do a quick review of what we learned yesterday. The first two problems we are going to look at is to find the circumference of these circles. Remember that you are going to use 3.14 in substitution for the number of pi. So the first one, let's look at. Remember, when you are given the radius, C equals 2 pi r, then you plug in what you know. 2 times 3.14 for pi, and then r is 4.5. As you work through this, C equals 3.14 times 9. When you do 2 times 4.5, C equals 28.26 inches. On the second one, we are given the diameter. Remember the formula when you were given the diameter? Circumference equals pi times the diameter. C equals 3.14 times 18. When you multiply everything out, the circumference equals 56.52 inches. So for today's lesson, we're going to be looking at how to find the area of a circle. You will understand the formulas for area and circumference and how to solve them in problems, but also understand the relationship between the circumference and area. Remember, if you have any questions while you're working, please feel free to email me at the email address on the screen, and I will respond back as quickly as possible, or you can ask Ms. Fairley as well. As a quick review, the radius is the distance from the center of a circle to any point along its curve, represented here. The diameter is a straight line segment, also known as a chord, from one point on a curve straight through the center of the circle across to a point on the opposite side of the circle. Remember the relationship. Diameter is 2 times the radius, or d equals 2r. You can also remember that the radius equals 1/2 of the diameter. And finally, the circumference is the distance around the outside. So C equals pi times diameter. Today we're going to talk about the area. For the area of a circle, the formula is area equals pi r squared, where r is representative of the radius. Remember, the radius is 1/2 of the diameter, so it's only from the center of the circle to the outside point. It is not all the way across. Remember that area is the amount of space a two-dimensional shape takes up. The area of a circle is found by multiplying pi times radius squared, or represented as the formula you see here at the bottom. To help you remember, think pi r squared, even though pi's are round. So a little bit outside the box, but it'll help you remember. So the area is pi r squared. One more thing, to have a quick understanding, when you square a number, you are multiplying a number by itself. So this is usually shown by a superscript or a number that is above itself. So here you have 5 squared, which is 5 times 5, which equals 25. If you have 3 squared, that's 3 times 3, which is the same thing as 9. 4 squared, 4 times 4 equals 16, so on and so forth. Now a square root is going to be the opposite of squaring a number. The square root of a number is a value when multiplied by itself gives the number as an answer. So this is shown by the square root symbol you have below. The example is the square root of 25. But you can also do it, the square root of 9 is 3, and the square root of 16 is 4. So they are opposites of one another. When you square a number, you multiply by itself. The square root is when you multiply by itself, it gives the number as an answer, as the examples you see listed on the board. Now, together we're going to look at this first example. We are to find the area of a circle with the radius of 14 meters. Remember, the formula is area equals pi r squared, where r is the radius. So when you plug in what you know, you have 3.14 for pi times the radius squared, which is 14. So 14 times 14, 3.14 times 196 equals 615.44 meters squared. Recall that the units are always squared when describing area, since you multiply it by itself. Now, time to do a practice problem on our own. You are given two circles here. The first has a radius of 4 centimeters. So we're going to plug into the formula. Area equals pi r squared. So we'll plug in. Pi is 3.14 times 4 squared, which is going to be the same thing as 4 times 4 times 3.14. So 3.14 times 16, which gives you the area of 50.24 centimeters squared for the first. Don't forget the unit with the square. The second problem, once again, we start out with our formula. Area equals pi r squared. A equals 3.14 times 14 squared. A equals 3.14. When you square 14, you come up with 196. So 3.14 times 196, area equals 615.44 meters squared. Okay, if there are any questions, please take a moment to pause the video and review what we have done. If not, we will move on. Now, you are asked to find the area of a circle that with a radius of 10 inches. Once again, area equals pi r squared equals 3.14 times 10 squared, which is 3.14 times 100. When you solve that out, A equals 314 inches squared. Next problem. A circle has a diameter of 32 feet. What is its area? Well, remember, it is saying the diameter. So first you have to take half of that diameter. So when you do that, area equals pi r squared again. Half of 32 is 16, so your radius is 16 feet. Area equals 3.14 times 16 squared. 3.14 times 256. Your final answer, area equals 803.84 feet squared. Now, that's all of the examples I have for you today, ladies and gentlemen. You will now proceed forward after you've watched the video and taken your notes. Please be sure to go back to Google Classroom and access the activity that you will complete on your own paper. I will provide paper copies if you do not have a Chromebook, or if you would just like to work on paper copies as well. Please make sure that all work is shown and turned in to myself or Ms. Fairley before you leave class. Thank you and good luck.